कुंज बिहारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा गोकुलनंद राधा गोकुलनंद, राधा गोकुलनंद राधे। जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान, जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की, इस्कॉन संस्थापक आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुर धाम की, नवदीप मायापुर धाम की, गंगा माई की, जमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी की, कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदायिनी श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की, कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की, श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेशन बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मृतं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, chapter entitled Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy, text 38. Yad Chakartha Anga Mat Stotram Mat Katha Abhyudaya Ankitam Yat Va Tapasi Te Nishtha Saha Esha Mat Anugraha Mat Chakarthanga Mat Stotram Yat Chakarthanga Mat Stotram Mat Katha Bhyudayantikam Yadva Tapasite Nishtha Sa Esha Mat Anugraha Yat Chakarthanga Mat Stotram Mat Katha Bhyudayantikam Yadva Tapasite Nishtha Sa Esha Mat Anugraha Yat Chakarthanga Mat Stotram Mat Katha Bhyudayantikam Yadva Tapasite Nishtha Sa Esha Mat Anugraha. Ladies, Yad, that which Chakartha performed, Anga, O Brahma, Madastotram, prayers for me, Matkatha, words regarding my activities, Abhyudaya Ankitam, enumerating my transcendental glories, Yat, or that, Va, either, Tapasi, in penance, Te, your, Nishtha, faith, Saha, that, Eshaha, all these, Mat, my, Anugraha, causeless mercy. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. O Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted, praising the glories of my transcendental activities, the penances you have undertaken to understand me, and your firm faith in me, all these are to be considered my causeless mercy. Purport. When a living entity desires to serve the Lord in transcendental loving service, the Lord helps the devotee in so many ways as the Chaitya Guru or the spiritual master within, and thus the devotee can perform many wonderful activities beyond material estimation. By the mercy of the Lord, even a layman can compose prayers of the highest spiritual perfection. Such spiritual perfection is not limited by material qualifications, but is developed by dint of one's sincere endeavor to render transcendental service. Voluntary endeavor is the only qualification for spiritual perfection. Material acquisitions of wealth or education are not considered. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. So the third canto, section from chapter 9, describes Brahmaji's prayers. In this particular verse, Krishna, after giving darshan to Brahma, is glorifying Brahmaji and assuring Brahmaji that there are three symptoms of a devotee having received his mercy. First, the ability of the devotee to have faith in him, Shraddha. Based on that faith, one will be able to perform tapasya, austerity. And then one will be able to glorify Krishna and explain his glories, his transcendental activities, which is Mat Stotram and Mat Katha Abhyudaya Ankitam. So all these three are symptoms of the devotee having received the mercy of the Lord. Yat sevaya bhagavatas kutastas chamadudvisha rati raso bhavet tivra padayor vyasanardana. So in the third canto, in the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya, the conditioned soul situation is described. That the soul in the conditioned state is actually covered over in various ways, that the soul's original constitutional position is not revealed. And so when Maitreya Rishi is describing to Vidura, he says, Yatha jale chandramasa kampadistat tathoguna. Just like moonlight is reflected in the water. So the water is dark, but it becomes lighted up because of the moon. The moon by itself is stable, but the waves of the water make the reflection appear unstable. So there is an exchange of qualities between the moon and the water. Like that, the soul is eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. The body is temporary. When there is an exchange of qualities between the two, conditioned life manifests. And therefore, here that example is given, that savai nivritta dharmena vasudevanukampaya bhagavat bhakti yogena tirodhatte shaner iva. How do you overcome this conditioned state? Nivritti dharmena vasudeva anukampaya. Only by the causeless mercy of Lord Vasudeva. When one puts to end all the other dharmas, duties related to our body, our family, our house, our wealth, our social prestige and position, our political influence, when all of these identities are suspended, that's called nivritti dharmena. Savai nivritti dharmena vasudeva anukampaya. And that cessation of all the illusory identities can only happen by the grace of Vasudeva. Bhagavat bhakti yogena, when the Bhagavat bhakti develops, tirodhatte shaner iva, gradually. It will happen gradually, not overnight. And what is the process? Ashesha sanklesha shamam vidhatte. Unlimited miseries are put to rest. Gunanuvada shravanam murare. When the soul continues to hear that there is nothing to be lamented, there is nothing to be acquired. Loss, lamentation on loss, and celebration on gain is nothing but stupidity on part of the soul. When the soul doesn't realize that the only thing to be gained is Krishna. So when one hears the pastimes and hears the prayers of the devotees, they hear the common theme that every devotee in the scripture is celebrating the acquisition of connection with Krishna, darshan of Krishna, hearing and chanting the glories of Krishna. Even beyond darshan, when they get to hear and chant, that gives them great pleasure. So therefore, when a person sitting and hearing Harikatha hears that, oh, there are people like Dhruv Maharaj who directly saw Krishna. And then when Lord Prishnigarma is standing right in front of Dhruva, what is Dhruva's prayers? Bhaktim muhu pravahtam tvai me prasango bhuyat ananta mahatam amalashayanam. May I get the opportunity to be in the satsang of devotees. Why? So that in that satsang, the glories of Krishna, like a fast flowing river of nectar, it washes my consciousness and it puts to end the flames of material desires within my heart. Bhuyat ananta mahatam amalashayanam yenonja solbanamuru bhagavat bhavabdim nirshe bhavaguna kathamrata panamatta. And right now, when my senses are intoxicated by sense gratification, may I replace that intoxication with intoxication in the love of Krishna. And therefore, Gunanuvada Shravanam Murare. That is the effect and impact of Shravanam. And hence, when Vidura hears this, he says, Sanchinna samshayo mahyam tava sukta asina prabho ubhayatropi bhagavan mano me sampradhavati. Says, the lack of Shraddha, as described in this verse, that yat va tapasite nishtha. The lack of nishtha is caused by lack of nishtha in 5 things. We do not have faith about Swatattve, about our position. Paratattve, we do not have faith about who is the supreme and what is he. And there is lack of faith about sadhya sadhana, about the process of attaining. There is lack of faith about the scriptural descriptions, whether they are bona fide or not. And there is lack of faith about one's own ability to overcome the obstacles in the journey as we will go along. So Srila Jiva Goswami describes that these are the 5 different obstacles which come in the path of a sadhaka. And therefore he says, when you commit 100 offenses, then you have distracted chanting. When you commit 1,000 offenses, then it will be difficult to practice the regulative principles. And when one commits 10,000 offenses, chanting of the holy name is not possible for the practicing sadhaka. And therefore, Vidura, as an ideal sadhaka, while hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam from Maitreya, says, Tava sukta asina prabho. Your words emanating from your lips, although nectarian, are simultaneously like sharp sword, which are cutting through the tough knots of doubts in my heart. Ubhayatropi Bhagavan, and the doubts regarding the soul, doubts regarding Ishvara, doubts regarding Prakriti, and the interrelationship between all. Mano me sampradhavati, and my mind is entering into this subject matter. And therefore, he says that ultimately I realize from your words the essence of the soul's suffering. Sadhu etat vyahritam vidvan natma mayanam mayanam hare. Sadhu etat, very well spoken. Vyahritam vidvan, O greatly scholarly personality Maitreya. Sadhu etat vyahritam vidvan. Your scholarship has made me realize why I am suffering. What is that? Natma mayayanam hare. He says, the soul is suffering only because it is maya ayanam. Ramayanam. Mayayanam. Mayayanam means, ayanam means journey. Ramayanam means the journey of Lord Ram. Mayayanam means the journey of the soul in Maya. Na atma maya ayanam harehe. That the soul just gets trapped into the merry-go-round of Maya's journey. And therefore, then he starts mistaking. Abhati appears what? Apartham nirmulam. So he uses 2 words. Apartham means without meaning. He ascribes meaning to that where there is no meaning. And nirmulam, without basis. So the soul's understanding in the conditioned state due to illusion is meaningless and baseless. That's called apartham and nirmulam. Vishvamulam nayat bahi, and is externally invested, and he forgets to see Vishvamulam. That person who is the soul of the entire creation. And forgetting that the root cause of the entire creation is Krishna, he just gets trapped into the journey. Satyapratam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasya Satyam Vrata Satyanetram Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapanna. So when the demigods approach Krishna in the womb of Mother Devaki, they glorify Krishna as the ultimate truth, Satya in all situations. And therefore, Vidura says, what is the solution to this lack of Shraddha? What is the solution? That the soul has so much Shraddha and faith in things which are apartham, which are meaningless, which are nirmulam, which are baseless. That transformation can only happen when the soul comes in contact with the Vaishnava. Yascha mudatamo loke, yascha buddhe param gata, tau ubhau sukhame dete, klishyanti antarito janaha. So he says there are two categories of souls in this world. One who is a pure devotee, one who is beyond the modes of nature. And the second category of soul is one who is completely engrossed in sense gratification. It says both these categories of souls, one who is fully enlightened and one who is fully ignorant, both are joyful in their own way. Who is miserable? In between. The sadhaka bhakta, who have heard material world is full of misery and he is trying to give it up. Just like in college, before exam, two categories are peaceful. One who has studied very well, the topper type, and one who has never attended lecture. And when you tell them, oh, tomorrow is exam, and they are preparing to go to see a movie, he said, oh, tomorrow is exam. I said, even God cannot pass me. Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda Ji ki, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki. So therefore, he gives the solution to Nishtha. What is that? Artha bhavam vinishchitya pratitasyapi natmana tam chapi yushmat charanam sevayaham paranude. That when the conditioned souls comes in contact with an enlightened devotee, artha abhavam vinishchitya, that devotee makes that conditioned struggling soul realize that matter is not substantial enough to satisfy the soul. It is meaningless. And therefore, pratitasyapi na atmana. It is only out of illusion that one is ascribing meaning to that. Tam chapiyushma charana sevayaham. And by serving the lotus feet of such devotees, real knowledge and enlightenment is obtained. Yat sevaya bhagavatas kotastascha madhudvisha ratiraso bhavit tivra padayor vyasanardana. Just by serving the lotus feet of devotees who are dedicated to Krishna, who is Madhu Dvisha, the eternal enemy of the Madhu demon. Madhu represents ignorance, and therefore such devotees are constantly fighting and conquering over ignorance by remembering Krishna. Yat sevaya, and by serving such devotees. Rati raso bhavet tivra, that intense love and devotion which is flowing like nectar within the heart of such great souls, a few drops of that is transmitted. Padayor Vyasanardana. So, that is how the process of transformation of Nishtha happens. Durapahi alpatapasa seva Vaikuntha Vartmasu. For those who are situated on the path of Vaikuntha, to access seva to such personalities, Durapa is very rare. Alpatapasa, if you have not performed sufficient austerities, one cannot even come in the presence of such personalities. Yatropa giyate nityam devadevo janardana, because their heart, their mind, their focus, their faith is on Krishna and his pastimes in the spiritual world. And therefore, they are in this world, but their mind is completely focused on Krishna. Shushyantim rudatim ekam dhyana shoka parayanam dukkhasyantam napashyantim ramam anubratam. So, body may be in this world, the body may be surrounded by miserable condition, but that is not necessary that mind will be suffering. Misery is compulsory, suffering is optional. And therefore, Sita Devi within Lanka, her condition is described. How she was surrounded by 6 types of miserable situations. Shushyantim, Ravana was subjecting her to a lot of oppression. Rudatim, she was constantly crying. Ekam, she was alone. Dhyana, she was meditating on her situation. Shoka parayanam, and she had completely surrendered herself to her state of lamentation. Dukkhasyantam napashyantim, she could not see the end of her misery. When the misery will end, when she will be freed, there was total uncertainty about that. So in such kind of situation of misery, one may feel if a person is helpless, they should become hopeless also. But what is Sita Devi's condition? Dukkhasyantam pashyantim ramam. Sita Devi is in great bliss within. Ramam means joyful. So how can someone be joyful when externally they are in a miserable condition? How can you be externally miserable and internally joyful? Ramam anubratam, because her mind was constantly remembering the path of dharma of Lord Ram. Ramam anuvratam, she could only see every situation as something orchestrated by Lord Ram. Every moment was dedicated in remembering Lord Ram. And therefore she was externally miserable, internally blissful, because she was connected in the right way. And hence, this principle is what is being described here, that nishtha, that faith, gets transformed by proper association. Srila Prabhupada disciple, Guru Kripa Swami, when he had come to India, Mumbai, 1971, young American devotee, that time he was brahmachari. He had gone to make life members, And then he went to Kalbadevi market, very crowded market. And then he was making life members. Afternoon time, the shops were kind of semi-closed. And post-lunch, the shopkeepers also wanted a break. So they were all sitting together, chit-chatting. They didn't have WhatsApp in those days. So coming together was part of entertainment. So they were discussing various things, and then suddenly they see this American boy, and he says, I want to give you the Bhagavad Gita. And then he shows the Bhagavad Gita, and he says Krishna spoke to Arjuna. Arjuna fought the battle of Kurukshetra. He was the victor and he was the hero. And then one shopkeeper suddenly interjected. He said, Arjuna is not the hero of Mahabharata. The real hero of Mahabharata is Karna. And it was 1971. Prabhupada had just, published an abridged version of Gita and not too many books. So our Guru Kripa Swami had not heard of Karna. So he was wondering, who's this? All I know is Prabhupada didn't say this. I have faith in whatever Prabhupada said. He says, no, sir, I think you're wrong. It's not Karna. It is Arjuna. And then the shopkeeper could realize that, he's getting agitated. Further entertainment. So he says, no, it is Karna. Just no, it is Arjuna. Arey, you are from America, you don't know. We are from India. We have been reading this right from our childhood. It is Karna. And you know what Karna did like this, Karna did like that, Karna did. And, he was getting confused. What is this? He said, I have heard from Srila Prabhupada. It is Arjuna. He says, no, Karna. And they all started laughing. So Guru Kripa Swami, he brought his fist 2 inches away from the nose of this person who was arguing. He says, the hero is Arjuna. You accept or not? And the man got bewildered. He looked at him and said, what is this? This is what Swami Prabhupada has taught you? You are chanting Hare Krishna, you are wearing saffron clothes, you don't have control over your anger. What is this? We don't expect this from you. He says, if I had not met Prabhupada 2 years before, the hand would have already gone. It is only by Prabhupada's grace the 2 inches gap is still there. So Srila Prabhupada, he transformed the faith of the devotees. Instead of having faith in material energy, you develop faith, nishtha, in Krishna consciousness. When there is shraddha, faith, nishtha, then you can perform the right kind of tapasya and austerity. Tapasvino, dhanapara, ishasvino, manasvino, mantravino, sumangala. Kshemam navindanti vinayadarpanam tasmai subhadra shavase namo namah. The Bhagavatam describes all kinds of tapasya, dana, meditation. Everything should be for glorification of Krishna. Kshemam navindanti vinayadarpanam. All of that should be used for the glorification of Krishna. And so, in the Bhagavad Gita, tapasya in the mode of goodness, austerity in the mode of goodness is described at 3 levels. First, Deva Dvija Guru Pragya Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. Austerity of the body is Deva, worshipping gods, Dvija, Brahmanas, Guru, the spiritual teachers, Pujanam, serving them, Shaucham, cleanliness, Arjavam, simplicity, Brahmacharyam, celibacy, Ahimsa, non-violence. This is all part of tapa for the body. So what is tapa for the words? Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam prihitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate. To speak without agitation, to speak the truth, to speak that which is priya, which is very pleasing, to speak that which is hitam, which is beneficial. Swadhyaya abhyasanam, to speak based on scripture. And this is called austerity of speech. Then he describes austerity, tapa, for the mind. What is that? Mana prasada saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samshuddhi ityaitat tapo manasa uchyate. Mana prasada saumyatvam, satisfaction. Because the mind by nature never is satisfied. To experience satisfaction, to say enough is enough, because the most difficult thing in life is to say when to stop. Starting is easy, stopping is very difficult. And therefore, mana prasada saumyatvam. Then maunam, which is silence. That means not speaking that which is not required. Atma vinigraha. And why maunam? Because when the mind is agitated, it pushes on the tongue and one starts speaking unnecessary. So maunam has to originate in the mind. Atma vinigraha means giving up unnecessary plan making and being controlled. Bhava samshuddhirityetad, and purifying one's existence. Tapomanasam uchyate. So this is basically the austerity of the mind, words and body. But then there is one austerity which is beyond that, and that is the austerity at the level of the ego. Sprashantam padayor premna vridatum svena karmana shatakrutu parishvajya vidvesham visasarjaha. Indra and Prithu both are having conflict like left, right and center. Okay, so conflicts in this world is common. And then we think we'll come to Krishna consciousness, we'll be in a conflict-free zone. Then we see here also there is conflict. Then we feel, okay, maybe sadhaka devotees are having conflicts. Then here in Bhagavatam there is description, avatars are having conflict. That both Indra and Prithu are avatars. And there is conflict there also. This is not to encourage conflict. But this is to let us know that the nature of this world is anytime, any situation, conflict can happen. So when Lord Vishnu mediates between the two, at that time, Sprashantam Padayor, Indra falls at the feet of Prithu. Premna, with great love. Vriditum Svena Karmana, ashamed of his own activities. Shatakratu, and the name of Indra is described as the one who performed 100 yajna, because the whole conflict was around that only. 99 versus 100. Parishvajya, he embraces him. Vidvesham visasarja, giving up his envy. So the word Prabhupada uses is Indra and Prithu adjusted their envy. Vidvesham. Dvesham means envy. Vidvesham means when the envy is targeted towards a particular person and the mind is somehow obsessed because of that envy towards a certain personality. That's called vidvesham. Visasarja. Visasarja doesn't mean give up. It means adjusted. So Prabhupada says it is the duty of the Vaishnava society that somehow or the other we need to adjust the envy. And that is the austerity at the level of the ego. Right? So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also wanted to stay in Vrindavan after sannyas. But his mother, Sachi Mata, she says, Kandiya bole na Prabhu bachare nimai, Vishwarupa samana korihani thurai. Please do not follow in the footsteps of Vishwarup and be hard-hearted. And at that time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts Sachi Mata's plan and he says, Kandiya bole na Prabhu shuna mora ai, tomar sharir ei mora kichunai. This body belongs to you. Wherever you tell me to stay, I will stay. And Sachi Mata tells Lord Chaitanya, you stay in Jagannath Puri. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's plan was to stay in Vrindavan after sannyas. But he changes his plan. He gives up his plan. Eimata Sachi Devi Vatsalye Vihval Harsha Bhaya Dainya Bhave Hoibe Vikal. Just to maintain the heart of Sachi Devi, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu renounced his plan. So that is the highest level of austerity. To be able to renounce and give up and change and adjust one's own plan for that purpose. And that's the whole idea of, coming in contact with Krishna. Because when we come in contact with Krishna, we start adjusting and moving our priorities and plans around his plans. Right? Somebody met me many years ago and they said, he was like the country head for Citibank in, some country. And he came up to me and said, I think I've been to ISKCON temples. ISKCON is organized better than Citibank. I was shocked. I looked at him and said, which ISKCON temple you went to? That you got such an impression. He said, no, I've been to so many temples all over. I said, but how did you make, that kind of a judgment and how did you arrive at that conclusion? He said, I go to LA, 4:30 a.m. the shank blows sharp. I go to London, 4:30 a.m. the shank blows. Mumbai, 4:30. Sydney, 4:30. Nairobi, 4:30. Wherever I go, you can adjust your watch and clock to that. What kind of system? Amazing. And the aarti is done in exactly the same manner. All the systems are in place. Amazing. Hats off. And then I said, how long you stay in the temple? And he said, when the darshan closes at 5, I leave. I said, that's when the Leela begins. But the morning, the whole program when we begin, what does it indicate? We are prioritizing our lifestyle as per the plans of the Lord. That's what it indicates. Okay, here is a different world. In this world, we acknowledge His plan and make adjustments in our plan as per His plan. That's what is the tapasya, the austerity. I was sharing yesterday in Soho Street. One brahmachari left the ashram in Chopadi. And then I asked him, why did you leave? Any changes we should make? No, everything is fine. Prasad is okay, devotee is okay. I said, some adjustment? He said, yeah, only if you can make Mangalarti 10 o'clock. That is not possible. So therefore, this austerity is what is described here. Yatva tapasi te nishtha. And then based on this shraddha, based on this nishtha and tapasya, then Brahmaji is making his beautiful prayers which is acknowledged by the Lord, and he says, Sa esha mat anugraha. It is my mercy only. So tomorrow we will continue further and understand what are the different things we pray for when we are offering our prayers to the Lord, based on what we learn from Brahmaji. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. Any questions? Yes, Vishwambar Prabhu.
Thank you very much for the class and a warm welcome from me. We've known each other for many years, the Bhaktivedanta Manor. You said towards the end that it's not possible to give up envy. We adjust it. So it made me thinking in retrospect, Prabhupada in one hand, I think he's in the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, when he was a little bit envious of Lord Brahma. He wanted a position better than. So Prabhupada, he quote, it's impossible to make friendship with someone who is envious of you, even if there is a trace of envy. It's very, very tangible, that you feel people, and I choose friends, who love me, who don't, and I was thinking, what do you mean? Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more. To not give up and adjust it, like you turn a few notches down and be a little bit envious of someone, or how is it possible that you can't give it up?
Yeah. So basically, Prabhupada is also not mentioning in that purport. Somebody can take out that purport? You already have that. Oh, you got a scholar here. Generally, when we find... this is Gunadikam Udam Lipset, not this one. Sprashantam Padeyor Premna. This is 4th canto in the Prithu Maharaj section. Vriditum Svena Karamana. Yeah. So, as King Indra was standing by, he became ashamed of his own activities and fell down before King Prithu to touch his lotus feet. But Prithu Maharaj immediately embraced him in great ecstasy and gave up all envy against him. Gave up all envy. In the translation, Prabhupada says, he gave up all envy against him for his having stolen the horse meant for the sacrifice. Purport. There are many cases in which a person becomes an offender to the lotus feet of a Vaishnava and later becomes repentant. Here also we find that although the king of heaven Indra was so powerful that he accompanied Lord Vishnu, he felt himself a great offender for stealing Prithu Maharaj's horse that was meant for sacrifice. An offender at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava is never excused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many instances illustrating this fact. Ambarish Maharaj was offended by Durvasa Muni, a great sage and mystic yogi, and Durvasa also had to fall down at the lotus feet of Ambarish Maharaj. Indra decided to fall down at the lotus feet of King Prithu, but King was so magnanimous a Vaishnava that he did not want Maharaj Indra to fall down at the feet. Instead, King Prithu immediately picked him up and embraced him, and both of them forgot all the past incidents. Both King Indra and Maharaj Prithu were envious and angry with each other. Both King Indra and Maharaj Prithu were envious and angry with each other. But since both of them were Vaishnavas or servants of Lord Vishnu, it was their duty to adjust the cause of their envy. It was their duty to adjust the cause of their envy because they are Vaishnavas or servants of Lord Vishnu. This is also a first-class example of cooperative behavior between Vaishnavas. In the present days, however, because people are not Vaishnavas, because people are not Vaishnavas, they fight perpetually among one another and are vanquished without finishing the mission of human life. There is a great need to propagate the Krishna consciousness movement in the world, so that even though people sometimes become angry and malicious towards one another, because of their being Krishna conscious, such rivalry, competition and envy can be adjusted without difficulty. So Srila Prabhupada is basically mentioning one of the purposes of the Krishna consciousness movement, that the Krishna consciousness gives us the tool, method by which rivalry, competition and envy can be adjusted without difficulty when there is Krishna consciousness. So which means that in Krishna consciousness society, if there is rivalry, competition and envy, then we should know that we are in the society, but we need more consciousness. Krishna consciousness. So that's why I thought I'll just read out Srila Prabhupada's exact words, because it's really quite powerful. And then there is no shortcuts. We have to increase our Krishna consciousness. Which is what? Improve the consciousness. So that's the essence. So when you rise above all of that, then you go to the next level. Okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna. A little later in this canto, after receiving the mercy and blessings of the Lord, Brahma, he starts creating. But then when he starts creating, he's very dissatisfied with his creations. First he creates the 5 types of ignorance, then he creates the Kumars who are disobedient to him. He creates Shiva, who his children start destroying the universe, and then Vak, who causes him to give up his body. So how is it that even after receiving the blessings and mercy of the Lord, that Brahma faced all this trouble?
Yeah. When Krishna appeared in Mathura, Vrindavan was very peaceful. After Krishna entered Vrindavan, the drama began. So Putana came, Shakatasur, Vatsasur, Aghasur, Bakasur, and all of these asuras. So Krishna is not guaranteeing that in this world, when you engage in any activity, there will be peace. Krishna has already declared this material world to be a place of distress. And even for the devotees, Krishna is saying that it's a level playing field. It's not that around the devotee there will be a bubble which will protect him from distresses of this world. You have to create a bubble around your consciousness. So the distresses will continue. So the Mathura, Vrindavan, and then finally the entire pastimes of Krishna ended where each and every Yadu dynasty person killed each other. So in such a horrific manner. So why does Krishna orchestrate things like this? Because he says there is only one thing which is guaranteed from my side for you. It is not prosperity or adversity. It is the opportunity to serve. And therefore Vrindavan means where everybody is seeking the opportunity to serve in the midst of prosperity and adversity. So therefore, Brahmaji, when he was created, there was adversity. Then he performed tapasya, Krishna appeared, gave him instruction, he offered prayers, then he began the sarva. Again, there is adversity. So therefore, in the midst of adversity and prosperity, one continues looking for opportunity to serve. That is what is the mandate for a devotee. Right? And therefore, Srila Prabhupada also, when he was spreading the Krishna consciousness movement, many kinds of such challenges, difficulties would come. But Srila Prabhupada continued on. He had only 40 rupees when he went to America. So he was sitting on top of Juhu temple, surrounded by so many people, and one big businessman, Brajratan Mohta, he entered, and Prabhupada introduced him. This is Mr. Mohta, a big businessman. And Mr. Mohta immediately said, Srila Prabhupada, you went to America with 40 rupees. Now you have properties all over the world worth 40 crore rupees. You are the real businessman. Prabhupada said, why don't you join my business? So, if Prabhupada was sincerely following Srila Saraswati Thakur, why didn't Krishna give him $1 million in India before going to America? Why couldn't Krishna organize a simple, at least economy class ticket? Why he has to go in a cargo ship, Jaladuta, and suffer multiple heart attacks and all of this? So, Krishna is very clear that I only guarantee seva, not shanti. If you come to Krishna consciousness, come searching for seva. And when there is seva, there is no shanti. Yes, Kanaya, you agree? Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Thago Premanande.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,